is the wave building. So if you are going to study, for example, engineering and computer science related, so at the right bottom, that is our diamond building. So we have 19 engineering labs in there. And of course, we have a numbers of libraries across the campus within walking distance. And of course, apart from your studies, we also want you to enjoy your time with us from the start to finish and also create your lifelong memories as well while you actually study in Sheffield. And which is why you can see is that in the latest What Uni Student Choice that we have been voted number one for students' life, said that there are over 350 clubs and societies that you can join. So some of them are relevant to, for example, like your study degree, for example, engineering. We have 20 different engineering clubs or societies that you can join, and a lot more that which is not relevant to your studies. So that really depends on what you would like to try. And most importantly, I'm sure that you know that looking at accommodations in the UK, especially some of the very big cities, I would say it can be very difficult. So, but for us, you don't have to worry because we guarantee your accommodation not just for the first year, even if you want to stay during the second years or third year. So we have all those options as well. We even run a number of series of events as well, which is part of the resident's life. So this is actually included in your accommodations rental. And of course, the safety and security. So that's 24/7, and because only accessible to students, and you have to use your card to access the building. Apart from the university's accommodations, we also help you to find accommodation in the private sectors as well. And we normally ask them to run like online sessions, so you can actually do like a virtual tour of the accommodations, and you can also ask them questions live as well. So from what you can see here, okay, so this is the rental for 2024 because they haven't updated the rental for 2025. So normally we have two contract lengths. So 42 week is normally for 9 months if you are undergraduate students, and if you're looking to study master, so that would be 51 week. Okay, so in all of our accommodations, so your rent will cover the cost of the utility bills and also the content insurance already. So the remaining things that you have to prepare on top of your tuition fees, that will be your food. Okay, so depends on whether you cook or you eat out. So you have to prepare the expenses for food on top of this. So 80% of the accommodation is single room. You have your own bathroom. So you just have to share the kitchen, which is you can see at the top right bottom, sorry, at the bottom right photo there. Okay, so the rental, as you can see there, so those listed are actually for the whole 9 months that you are paying. Okay. So this map here, it gives you an idea that, in terms of the locations, and it depends on which department that you're going to study. So if you look at in the middle where the roundabout, so if you are going to study, for example, courses like engineering related, if you are going to study psychology, for example, so majority of your classes will be on the right hand side, and you can see that there's two building on top of the roundabout. So this is two gray building here. So this is actually the university's student accommodation. So and another two here, Broadland Court, and also the St. George's, St. Vincent. So these are actually the university city accommodations, that the one that I've just showed you. So on the right hand side, that is actually city center. So that will take you about 7 minutes walking distance to the city center. And if you go left hand side, so if you are going to study, for example, biomedical science, or if you're going to study architecture, so just right next to architecture, so this is a Western Bank Library. So just right in front of the roundabout, there's another 24 hours open library, which is called Information Common. So you can see is that from the roundabout, if you want to walk, let's say to the left-hand side to your management school or the Wave building here, so that will take you about, I would say, within 10 minutes of walking distance. Okay, so it really depends on what courses that you would like to study, but the green empty area that you can see at the bottom there and also at the top. So those are actually a public area. So you will find shop and restaurants around. Right. So now we look at the city. Right. So Sheffield is an open and progressive places like what you can see just now. So it is actually known as the greenest, friendliest, and affordable student cities. So what you can see here on the right hand side. So I've actually make some of the point here. So we are actually fifth biggest, largest cities in England and affordability. So 10% of the populations in the cities, they are students, which is why normally when it comes to Sheffield, then it's actually a student cities. So if you look at this map here, we will normally ask you to fly to Manchester Airport, and then we have the pickup service from Manchester Airport, and then we will take you to Sheffield. So that will take around 1 hour. But if you take the train directly from the Manchester train stations, which is next to the Manchester Airport, so that will be about 1 hour and 15 minutes to Sheffield. So I will just quickly browse through this some of the things here. This is more about the city. So there's a lot of things going on in the cities that which they're all within walking distance. So there's a lot for you to explore during your time there in Sheffield. So it's not just about your studies. After your studies, there's a lot of things that you can join together with your friends, and it's also easier for you to networking as well to get to know people from other places. Okay. Um, I was in the group of like together with your seniors. I would say that a lot of them are they're quite active. I can see it's like every week they have some sort of events or like night gatherings, so it's quite happening. But of course, when you actually join the Sheffield as well, I'm sure that you'll be able to join those events together with them. So here you can see that our students actually lays down, like for example, a cost of a night out. So in terms of traveling, if you actually take bus, so that would be about £1.20. And if you would like to take a taxi or Uber, normally you will share within £5 to £10 amount with your friends. If you would like to take the safety minibus, so you can see that this is about £1.50. So in terms of drinks, so whether you go for like a pint, then that will be £3.50 and so on. So yeah, and then on the left hand side, they even tell you like, because there's a lot of places that they give student discounts as well. So that will be the price, rough ideas of how it will cost you for a night. And in terms of food, you can see that Sheffield is the foodie capital of the UK as well. So from the list here, our students actually list down, some of the very popular places that most of our students go for. So you can see there's a lot more actually. I didn't manage to actually list down all of them, but these are just some of the things that our students actually list down, and then they normally go for it. And in terms of the entertainment and shoppings, so again, there are more lists. The list is just continue and going on. So the red color one, normally I would say is that it's where you would normally go like at least once a week. So to get your grocery done. If I show you the map here, okay. So you can see it depends on where you stay for in terms of your student accommodations. Like if you stay Sheffield 3, Ellen Court, the roundabout, remember this time mentions about the roundabout area, and then Broom Hall. So from Broom Hall, if you actually walk towards the roundabout area, that will take you about 7 to 8 minutes walking distance. So and then the red pin that you can see, so those red pins are the grocery store. So you can see it really depends on where you are staying, but within walking distance, you will definitely find one grocery store. So it's very easy access. And of course, if you are into sports, you can see that there's a lot more things that you can do as well in cities. Sorry, in Sheffield. if you look at the club sports, so you can see we have at least 59 sports clubs and with over 80 teams that you can actually join. But of course, if you just want to relax your mind, just for like very simple kind of exercise and you don't want to actually join any of the clubs, we have that as well. So you can see you can even join some of the well-being activities, and this is happening every Wednesday. And now we have a look at the timeline. So for those of you there who are planning on applying for undergraduate degree, okay, so I'm sure that you're quite familiar with UCAS, because we only accept applications for undergrad degree by UCAS. So UCAS is already open now if you're planning on applying. So UCAS normally have January, which is for next year is 29 January, equal consideration deadline. Okay, so some of the courses you may still be able to apply after 29 January, but of course it depends on the universities, because if let's say that the places are already taken up, they may close the course. For example, in the past that happened to some of the courses, for example, like computer science, um, architecture, psychology, biomedical science. So these are the few courses that happened in the past that where they closed down the courses by end of January. So be very careful, depends on the courses that you're planning on applying. Okay, so as long as you apply before 29 January, those universities receive your applications, they must consider your applications, and then they will aim to give a decisions no later than 15 May. So this is applicable only if you apply before 29 January. And then you will have to reply to your offers no later than 4th of June. If you forget to reply your offer, all your offers that you receive will turn withdrawn or rejected automatically because you didn't accept those offers. So make sure that you note down this deadline. Okay. And if let's say that you still haven't applied, from January, but you are still considering on applying, you can apply no later than 30th June. Okay, so if you apply before 30th June, you can still put in 5 university choices. But if let's say that if you miss the June deadline, you still thinking of apply, but after that you haven't applied, that will be around July, where that's when the UCAS clearing open, which is after 5th July. But you can only put in one university choice, and you have to check with the universities as well whether they're still accepting applications for the courses that you want to study. Okay. So this is the semester date for Sheffield, I would say. So if you plan to join Sheffield, so you can see that the first day of the class, which is the autumn term, the first day of the class next year is 29 September. So your first semesters and also your second semester, which is the spring term. So you are required to come to the universities 2 weeks before. Okay, so it starts from orientation week. So that's 15 to 19 September. And this is optional, as you can see. So I've listed down what are the things that will happen. And in between of your orientation week and intro week, so I mentioned earlier that we'll have an airport pickup service. So this is the tentative date at the moment, I would say, and the booking starts around July. And of course, for the accommodation contracts as well, I won't explain this at this point of time, but if let's say that you hold an offer later on, you want to find out more, I'll be happy to talk through that. So in terms of the welcome week, so you can see here, this is compulsory. Because there's a lot of registration things for you to prepare yourself, like get your laptop to have them checked as well, so that you're ready for your classes for the end of September. Okay. So, and some of the students may be asking, so when is the deadline for you to meet your offer? So what you can see here, if you are undergraduate students, normally the latest that you must meet the offer condition, that will be by 9 September. And if you are medicine and dentistry students, then that would be 31st August. But if you are planning on applying for the postgraduate, which is a master's degree, the deadline is also around September, but I think it's mid of September. Okay, so you can only start applying for CAS. Let's say that you have already accepted an unconditional offer. So for undergrad students, you're not required to pay any deposits in order to request for CAS. But if you are a master student and you're not applying for those medical related courses, you are normally required to pay £1,000 deposit in order to initiate the CAS process. So we normally start issuing CAS letter from 1st June onwards. And the last date, the recommended one that we ask you to apply your CAS is no later than 8 September. Okay, so the QR code here will list down even more specific deadline. So if you are would like to find out more, then feel free to take the photo or print screen of it. Right, entry requirement. Okay, so for those of you that who are currently doing A levels or IB or OSD, or if you're doing US curriculum where you have the high school diploma and also AP subjects, so this is a general equivalence. So taking example, if you're planning on applying for business related studies, so business related studies, the entry requirement for A levels is AAB, and then you look at the equivalence. So for business study, they don't really require any specific subjects for your A-level subjects, but you must have your IGCSE or your matriculations mathematics minimum B. Okay, so on top of this, the universities will also look at the English requirement. So we'll talk about the English requirement later on. So now this is the requirements for those that who plan to apply using their degree completed in Myanmar or a master's degree completed in Myanmar to our master's degree. So you can see here that if let's say that you actually completed a bachelor degree between 5 to 6 years, or you have done a postgraduate diploma or master's in Myanmar, then we will require a UK 2-1 equivalence, which is your CGPA minimum 4.5 out of 5 or 75%. So this is normally the entry requirement, I would say. So if let's say that your bachelor degree is completed less than 5 years, then you will have to join pre-masters. Okay. So this is the English requirements for undergraduate students. So it depends on whether you are A levels or IB students. If you have taken some of these, we may be able to consider to waive your IELTS. So if you don't have these, then it's a must for you to take IELTS. Okay. And then this is for the master's students. So this is the equivalence of whether you are taking IELTS academic, PTE academics, or TOEFL. So I put down the equivalence here for your reference. So in terms of the IELTS, we are able to accept IELTS one skill retake. So yeah, it will be the same equivalence, I would say. And for those that who are planning on joining our pre-sessional English, so for example, that you didn't meet the required grade after you have taken IELTS, like already more than once that you try, and you think that you will need like additional English classes, you can actually come to the universities earlier. But of course, if you have taken IELTS academic non-UKBI, so you have taken non-UKBI IELTS or non-UKBI Pearson academic, you can do the online classes. But I know that they may be a bit of challenging if you actually do online in your country. So if you actually prefer in-person pre-sessional English, then I would recommend you to take IELTS for UKBI or PTE academic UKBI. So at the end of this course, you're not required to take IELTS again, but you can see that these are the assessment method here. So the maximum class size for these English classes is 16 to 18 students. Okay. If you are going to study undergraduate courses, but you need to go for this pre-sessional course, you will have to apply for the visa for the pre-sessional course. And when you finish these pre-sessional courses in Sheffield, you have to stay in the UK and then apply your visa for your bachelor degree. But if you are master students, And if you join those pre-sessional course within the day that I stated here, 10 weeks, 6 weeks, or 4 weeks, you are able to combine your class, which means that you only apply your visa one time, combining your pre-sessional course and also your master's degree. But provided that you have already met the rest of the entry requirement, you only pending IELTS. Okay. So this is the tuition fees for 2025. For master student, you should look at the course specific because the fees can be quite different. But for undergraduate students, it depends on which courses that you're planning to join. So for example, that if you like to do business, that will be under social science. So the social science tuition fees for business, law, that will be at the moment around 23810 pound per year. So if you join 2025, your fees will be the same. Okay, so for example, if you're going to study 3 years, then your cost will be the same for 3 years. This is very important because there are some universities that the fees increase every year, even though that you are the current students. So for us, yes, our fees increase every year, but only for new students. So once you join, your fee will be locked for the whole durations. Okay. So now we'll talk about scholarship. Okay, so if you are undergraduate students, the scholarship that which is applicable in your case, you look at the left-hand side, orange color. So we have 75 awards of £10,000 merit scholarships. So which means that they will look at your grades, the grades that when you actually put in your applications, also that you will be required to put in an applications. So when you receive an offer letter for the course that you want to study, you must activate an university's account so that you have the login username and password. And then you check on the questions. For example, now the application is already open. The deadline to apply is 21st April. Okay, so which means that you got an offer, you must apply before 21st April. They'll ask you a few questions. You answer the essay, submit, and then wait until 14 May. So they will announce like whether you get the £10,000 or not. So if you actually get the £10,000 for the first year, you just have to actually maintain your grades average 60% B in order to get the same amount deducted for the following years. So if your courses has a 1 year placement year, so that 1 year placement year, you're not eligible to get scholarship because you won't be required to pay the full tuition fees if you go for a 1 year study abroad or 1 year placement year. So normally you only required to pay 15%, 15% tuition fees of that year. Okay. So let's say you apply for the £10,000, but you didn't manage to secure that scholarships, but you are still interested to actually join the universities. So make sure you checked out the deadline here. So if you are undergraduate students, make sure that you choose us firm or insurance choice before 4th of June. Okay. And if you're a master's degree offer holder, make sure that you accept before 8 July. So as long as you have done this and you are self-funded students, then you're definitely getting this international so-called automatic scholarship. So if you are going to study business, social science related, that would be £2,000. If you're going to join science and engineering, that would be £2,500. So it's the same thing. For the first year that you are getting, let's say £2,500. For the following years, you maintain average 60% B every year. You're getting the same amount deducted. So you only get one chance to apply for the £10,000. So if you didn't manage to get it for the first year, you wouldn't be able to apply during the second year or the final year because that's only available for new students to apply. Okay, so you cannot combine these scholarships as well. You can only get the one that which is the highest amount here. Okay. So for master students, same thing as well. It's the same amount, £10,000, 75 awards. So the deadline is a bit different, and then the winners were announced by 11 June. So same thing, you got an offer, and then you apply for the scholarships, and then you wait for them to announce the scholarships. Okay. And this is for those that who are planning on joining our engineering degree, undergraduate degree. Okay, because these scholarships are given by the Faculty of Engineering themselves. So you don't have to actually apply. Okay. So what you need to do is that when you hold an offer, So you just need to make us as your firm choice. Then you're automatically awarded this scholarship because they look at your final A level or your IB grade. Because a lot of our engineering courses, the minimum requirement is AAA. So if you get A star AA, then you're getting £1,000, or 2 A star £2,000, 3 A star £3,000. This is for the first year. So this is actually a cash bursary. So what we mentioned earlier is a fee reduction. So let's say that you get £10,000, okay? But then because you are a very good student as well, where you get like 3 A star, so you are getting £10,000 fee reduction. And when you go over and register at Sheffield, they will transfer £3,000 to you. Let's say you get 3 A star. So then £3,000 you can use it towards anything that you would like. Okay. And if you're planning on joining computer science, so the computer science give up to £2,000 for 3 A star. So in order for you to get this scholarship for the following year, because it's engineering international excellent, so which means that you need to maintain 70% average every year, they will give you £1,000 cash every year. Okay. So for those that who are planning on maybe MBA, so this is the scholarship scheme for MBA. So for MBA entry requirement, apart from the degree 2-1 equivalence, we will need you to have minimum 3 years of work experience. So that will be the entry requirement to the course. And if you would like to apply for these scholarships, you can see that the scholarship for MBA is up to 50%. So at the moment, 50%, it's around £17,000. So which is half of the fee, right? So there's no separate applications for the scholarship, but when you apply for the course, because for master, you have to apply directly via the counselors, and they will help you to submit directly from their portal. So you will then, before you put in the application, you have to prepare your supporting statement here. They give you 4 questions on our university's website. I've included the link here or the QR here. So for those that who are planning on applying for MBA, you have to check those questions while preparing for your personal statement or supporting statement, because these will submit together with your applications. They will look at this, and then they will also look at your performance at the interview to decide that who to give this 50%. So they have several awards for 50%. So normally that depends on every year. It depends because they will look at your statement and also your interview. They will decide when you got an offer, normally within like 2 weeks to a month, they'll let you know that whether you got the 50% or not. And for those that who are interested for the master's courses listed here, so only those courses that listed here, because this is the Ellen and Nesta's scholarships. So if you check on our university's website, they haven't actually confirmed the details yet, because I think they didn't offer this scholarship last year, I mean 2024. Okay, so only for these courses, but you must make sure that you get an offer early so that you can work on meeting those requirements earlier, because they normally close by May. So which means you must receive an offer before May in order for them to consider you for this scholarship. Right. So I think yeah, this is everything, and this is my contact details. So if you have any further questions, feel free to take down my details. So I'll stop sharing my screen now.
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဟိုမေးစရာမေးခွန်းလေးရှိရင် comment ချက်ပေါက်မှာလည်းရေးပြီးတော့မေးလို့ရလို့ mute ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရပါတယ် Hey Jasmine, your presentation is really really good and we got a lot of information from you. So we are going to the question and answer session. So
Yeah. So right, I can see, I think so apart from the undergrad degrees and also the master's degree, we have students looking at human resource management. So the entry requirement will be the same like I mentioned earlier, where they will look at a 2-1 equivalence grade. So that depends on your background study. So if we have your details on that, then we'll be able to know the eligibility. So we have a student ask, as a postgraduate students, can I accompany, like, can I bring dependents over, right? So at the moment, the UK only allow that you bring dependents over if you are going to study a PhD courses. So if you're going to study, for example, a master's degree for 1 year, they don't allow to the students to bring any dependent. So only if you're considering, for example, a PhD, then that will be possible. Yeah. Do you have any questions? Okay. So I'll go on to the next one. So yes, I finished H&D in business. I would like to join for top up. So as I mentioned earlier, at the moment, our business courses, they are not accepting year two entry. So they will only be able to accept year one entry. We have two courses, business management, which you study 3 years in Sheffield, and there's another courses which is international business management with study abroad. So for that courses, you study the first year and the final year in Sheffield, but during the second year, you actually study in one of our partner universities. So that can be in Singapore, US, Australia, some of the European country, and the list goes on. So during the second year, when you actually study with our partner universities, you actually don't pay the full tuition fees to Sheffield and not to the partner universities as well. So at the moment, the tuition fees for the study abroad year, it's only 15%, 15% for that year for the fee. But it depends on which countries that you go. You just have to cover your own living expenses like your accommodations and food. So we have students from Sheffield where they study in Singapore, for example, but the living expenses there, according to them, they actually spend more than they were in Sheffield in Singapore. Yeah. And can I know about the early childhood educations in UK? So the students have done the diploma in ECCE. So normally, if you have done a diploma, you will either have to continue to go for a bachelor degree, or if you would like to actually like in order to teach, I would say in the UK, then you have to actually go for specifically for the teaching qualifications. So teaching training, so that will be a different thing. So that really depends. But I would say normally for diploma students, they'll go for a bachelor degree first, and see if they would like to go for maybe a master's, for example, in TESOL, or they go for those teaching training courses in the UK. So those are the things. And Shane mentioned I finished my Bachelor of Science in Business Management, and I'm interested to pursue business analytics and management. Right. Okay. So but for the bachelor degree in business management, I will need to know first whether that is actually completed, like in which country, because when they actually completed a different country, then the equivalence will be different. So I think that would be the information that I need. But for business analytics, the closest course I would say that you can actually have a look at either for example, data science, or you can also have a look at information system management. Okay. So yeah, so Sheen, if you can let me know what's your where you completed your bachelor degree and how many years, then I'll be able to let you know. And are there any examinations for English language requirements? So that depends on yeah, where you completed your degree and what was your previous qualifications before your Bachelor of Science. So if let's say that you actually host one of the qualifications that I mentioned earlier, like for example, A-level English, or you have done IGCSE English, depends on the syllabus. If you have those and you don't have any gap in between of your studies, like you actually like completed your studies, but then you work, then it might not be possible to have any exemption. So which means you still have to require to do IELTS. And for KS, if I finish only IGCSE, can I attend foundation? Yes. It depends on what courses. So I think currently the courses that don't offer from the foundation pathway, it's medicine and dentistry. So even data science and computer science recently, they're able to accept the foundations. So if you have done IGCSE, then economics and business, right? So we will look at minimum 5B, and you must take IELTS UKVI because that's a visa requirement. IELTS UKVI, and also minimum IGCSE academic subjects 5B. Then you'll be able to actually join the foundation. So foundations, we have September, January, or March intake, depending on which one that you go for. The next available is actually January in 2025. And then you will start your degree in September 2025. Okay, so that is possible. Yeah, I think those are the questions in the chat box. If I miss anything, then feel free to let me know.
ဟုတ်မေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးရှိရင် Zoom ရဲ့ chat box မှာမေးလို့ရလို့ mute ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရပါတယ်ဟုတ်မေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးเนาะ
Thank you so much for your information.
No problem.
I'm just joining for my daughter, not for myself.
Yeah.
I'm the one who asked about economic and business foundation.
Yeah.
And one thing that I want to know is, my daughter will finish 2025 May, June. So the result will get at the end of the August. So do we have to wait until the result come out when we apply?
You can
Apply advance.
you can apply in advance because it depends on which intake that you want to join. If you actually apply in advance, so let's say that for whatever reasons that the result came out late, for example, then they will still be able to help you to change the start date because for foundations, they have a few intake. They have September, they have January, they also have March fast track intake as well. So I will recommend that if you don't wait until the students finish the studies, but apply in advance. So because they will also have to prepare for IELTS UKVI as well. So if they can use like their school result, for example, to apply first, that would be better.
Okay.
And there's another thing to take note is that when they join the foundations, they must be already 17 years old.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there's an age limit.
So when she apply after that, she must be already 17.
I mean, not when apply, when the students start the course.
Oh, started. Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay, because
Yeah.
she will be 17. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Right. So I'll continue the questions. For Zuzu, for a master's degree, business and human resource management, could I take English proficiency test Sheffield provide for international students without IELTS? Okay. No, you can't because you must have at least you need to have IELTS for the universities to know that what is your current level of English because we don't have our own kind of English test. So you must have at least taken one time. And if you're planning on the pre-sessional English test, then you must have taken IELTS in order for us to know your language level. And then you can then take the pre-sessional English. But if you are talking about English proficiency test, like an additional test, which is like not the course, then we don't have a English test like that. So it's a must for you to take IELTS if you want to take pre-sessional course. So which intake for top up in business admin? So for our business courses, our course only start in September each year. So all of our undergraduate degree, they only start September each year. So just now when I talk about the timeline, so the first day of the class for our degree is 29 September 2025. So that will be the earliest that you can actually start your year one business studies. Okay, so I got my bachelor's at Singapore. Okay. Right, University of Birmingham. I attended bachelor's for 2 years and I graduated last year. Been working for nearly a year now. So does that mean that for the University of Birmingham degree, you study the whole degree in Singapore, or you actually went to study in Birmingham. Because if you have done studies in Birmingham for at least a year, then it is possible that you get an exemptions. But if you study the whole degree in Singapore, you will still also be required to meet the English requirement, because Singapore national language is actually not English. Right. So if you study the whole degree in Singapore, you will still need to meet the IELTS requirement. Yeah. Is both year one. Okay, so for the top-up degree for business, no, like I mentioned earlier, at the moment, if you actually would like to use your, I think just now you mentioned your HND, so you actually can only apply for year one. You have to start from year one, because the course itself, it doesn't accept, if you come from any other qualification, they don't accept year two. Yeah, unless you would like, yeah, no, those options that I mentioned, it's like if you study in Malaysia, for example. Yeah, I hope that clarified. So which means you have to start from year one. And for KS, foundation same as undergraduate. No, the foundation's tuition fees at the moment, I would say it's around 20 to 22,000 pound for the foundations, and it depends on the student's IGCSE grade. So they may offer scholarships up to the maximum 5,000 pound. It depends on their grade. So after you put in an application for the foundations, they will let you know that how much scholarships that they are giving. And for foundations, if you start September, you will finish the following year by June, which is a 9 months program. If you start January, you will also finish latest by 1st September. And if you join March intake, the duration for the foundation is only 6 months, which is like a fast track foundation. So yeah, so those are the options. So either 9 months or 6 months if you start in March. Right. Okay. Genetics, bioengineering, Turkish, MSc, house scholarships. For in terms of the scholarships for masters, so it will be the same. So either you can apply for the 10,000 pound, which is a merit scholarship. We have 75 awards for that one, or the automatic scholarship if you accept your offer before July. So that will be 2,500 pound automatic discount. So which means the least that you are getting is 2,500 pound, and the highest that you are getting is 10,000 pound. Right. So in terms of the IELTS UKVI for the foundations, so the make sure that the students go for IELTS UKVI, the minimum requirement, it's, I would say, if you go for a 9 months durations, you normally will be required to have overall 5.5. Okay. But if you go for the fast track 6 month, then the overall grades for IELTS UKVI will be 6.0. They also have individual grade requirement as well. I can actually send you the link so you can have a look later on. Okay, so this is the link to the foundations requirement. You'll be able to find the intake date, the tuition fees, the IELTS requirements as well. And all right. So how do I apply for merit scholarship? So for the merit scholarship, you apply for the courses, the MSc courses that you would like to study. You get an offer letter first. There's no application fees for our master's degree. Only there is an application fee for those who apply for undergraduate degree. So if you apply by UCAS, yes, they have an application fee. I think less than 30 pound. And if you apply for masters, then you don't have to pay any application fee. And then you got an offer letter, and then you can get your student account. You have a login ID, you have a username and passwords. and then you apply from there. So they will ask you a few questions online. You prepare your essay and then submit the scholarships application. And then you wait until June. They will then announce the scholarships. Okay. So yes, so regardless whether you join, like I said, so you have to start year one, right? So the entry requirement for business at the moment is overall 6.5 for IELTS and 6.0 for each component. So yes, IELTS will be required as well. Right, for Sui, okay, so if your IELTS meet the requirement and it is still valid until the course starts in September, so preferably October. If it's still valid until October 2025 and you meet the minimum requirement, then IELTS academic is fine. Not necessarily that you must have a UKVI. Only students that who want to do foundation and only students that who want to do pre-sessional English, it has to be IELTS UKVI. So the rest, for those that who are going to join undergraduate degree directly or a master's directly, as long as you will meet the minimum requirement set by the universities, IELTS academic can be accepted. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So yes, as long as you meet the requirement, then we can accept IELTS academic. The main difference is just the who sponsor the visa, whether it's the universities or the college. Because if they join foundation, then the international college is going to sponsor the visa. Then they will need IELTS UKVI. Yeah, and if they do pre-sessional English, then yes, that will be sponsored by our teaching center. Scholarship requirement, okay, because you'll be using the IGCSE O level to apply for the foundation. So they basically look at the IGCSE result. So that will be actually decided by the international college, which is why that you must apply for the course first. When they issue you an offer letter, they will then let you know that how much scholarships that they are giving in. Yeah, they will inform your counselors on the scholarship amount. So for computer science, we need to join foundation 1 year and another 3 year for universities, right? Is it different between IGCSE, Pearson, edXCEL, and CIE? No. If you have done Pearson, edXCEL, GCSE or IGCSE, no, it will be the same requirement as well. I think only the grade may be different because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pearson, edXCEL, they give the grades differently, but we have that equivalent grade. So if you join foundation computer science, to progress to computer science, so the foundation duration is either 6 months or 9 months, and then you go for the computer science for 3 years. So you can also choose the course that you can also add on the placement year if you want to gain 1 year work experience for the computer science degree. You can do that as well. Yeah. So yeah, so the requirement will be the same whether you go for Pearson, edXCEL, or Cambridge GCSE. No problem. Any more questions?
မေးစရာမေးခွန်းလေးအများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးခင်ဗျာမေးစရာမေးခွန်းလေးရှိရင် chat box ကနေပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်unmute လုပ်ပြီးတော့ပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်မေးလို့ရပါတယ်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဟုတ်ကျွန်တော်တို့နောက်ထပ်မေးခွန်းတစ်ခုလောက်လက်ခံပေးပါမယ်ဟုတ်မေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးเนาะဟိုမေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးเนาะကျွန်တော်တို့မေးခွန်းတစ်ခုလောက်လက်ခံပေးပါမယ်ဟုတ်စုံမြတ်ချက်ပေါက်မှာလည်းမေးလို့ရလို့မြို့ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရပါတယ် So I think there is no more questions. So thank you for your answering and today presentation. So we got a lot of information from you. So we are going to the before final part of the today webinars. Please tell the student for your welcome message. Who want to study in a UK coming January intake, please.
Sorry, you mean January intake?
I mean, welcome message for Myanmar students who want to study in the UK for
All right.
coming January intake.
All right, okay. Right. So for students that who are planning, to come to the UK, and especially if you are joining, some of the universities that who offers the January intake, so make sure that you prepare. Because now it's already November. I hope that you have already secured your place and all this. But if not, it is the time that where you have to start your preparation, especially for things like, for example, your reference letter. So for reference letter, make sure that you get those letters with the proper letterhead, with the date, and you need to have the referee sign as well. So those are the very important point if you are going to get a reference letter. And you have to also prepare your personal statement. So those are the main thing I would say apart from your academic documents. Okay, so if you are really not sure what to prepare, please check with the counselors and the experts. So yeah, every year we they help the students and in terms of the applications and including your visa applications as well. But yeah, don't be shy. Reach out to us. Even if let's say that you have questions in terms of visa, we have our student visa support team as well in Sheffield. They can be reached out by the online chat box. So don't be afraid. Yeah, you have my contact just now as well. So feel free to reach out to the counselors, or you can also reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to, answer all the queries that you have. I hope that helps. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your today attending the webinar, and we have time. We will meet again
All right.
another webinar or our education fair.
Sure. We'll get in touch again. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.